All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about Marathon Digital Holding, stock ticker MARA. They are a Bitcoin mining company, and they put out their August operational update. So they had some very big updates in there. I wanted to go through that in detail and show you where they're at, and I've done some projections and looked at this in a few different ways that I have not looked at this before. So there's some new stuff coming at you today. We talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners all the time, so if that's content you're interested in, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button, it helps this video out a lot and helps the channel out a lot. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for everybody's support. Okay, so with that, let's get into Marathon. I'm going to start by looking at where Marathon's at right now. We're in the middle of the trading day on September 8th. So Bitcoin is having a green day. The Bitcoin miners are having a green day. But again, this could change at any time. Bitcoin has been very, very volatile over the last weeks and months, as you guys know. But at the moment, Marathon's up 6.5% on the day. They're over $12 at $12.44. And that puts them at just under $1.5 billion market cap. So I like to start here so that we can put this all into perspective. So they're sitting at just under $1.5 billion market cap. If we look at their market cap over the last 12 months, you'll see that when Bitcoin peaked in November, Marathon was at about $7.5 billion market cap. So they are down drastically, as are all the Bitcoin miners. So they're really not out of line with the rest of the Bitcoin miners. However, as we dig into this, you're going to see their performance over the past 8 or 9 months has not been very good. There's a lot of mitigating factors, and they've talked about that month by month by month, but those of you who watch the channel know I have remained skeptical. I like to wait to see actual action happen. So I do think we're starting to get some of that. There is a shift this month. This report was a little bit different than previous reports. So I'm not jumping all in on Marathon, and obviously this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you guys to buy Marathon or sell Marathon, but I do feel this is the first month in the year 2022 that they really did make measurable progress. So let's take a look at the operational report, and then we'll take a look at some history, and then I want to show you some projections that I put together. Okay, Marathon Digital Holding announces Bitcoin production and mining operation updates for August 2022. So they lead by saying approximately 25,000 miners are energized in August as Bitcoin production improves to 184 Bitcoin. Okay, so that's 184 up from I think 73 or 74 last month, which was their absolute bottom. And we're going to look at a chart. This company was just moving in the wrong direction fast. So despite the fact that their operational updates have been very upbeat and positive, and they remain on their target of 23.3 exahash all along through this entire down cycle, they still said they're going to get to 23.3 exahash. They've just pushed the time frame out a little bit. They're now mid to late 2023, but they are still sticking to that plan. However, in the past, there has not been very much execution. In fact, their hash rate's gone down month after month after month after month. This is the first month where we have a turnaround. Their hash rate has increased, their production has increased, and some good things have happened. So I see the path to success, and I see them taking at least the first step here. So this is what I've been waiting for. And again, they're gonna have to do this several months in a row for me to be a believer, but this was a great first step. And again, I'm gonna show you projections of what they say they're gonna do between now and the end of the year. And I will tell you, if they stick to that plan, they should have an incredible remainder of the year. However, one of their biggest problems has been the difference between what they say they're going to do in their monthly operational updates versus what they actually do in their monthly operational updates. So in other words, I'm going to sidetrack you for just a minute and go back to last month's operational update. So you can see in the month of August, they put 25,000 miners energized, but I want to show you what they said in July. Okay, July 2022 and recent highlights. So the second bullet point here says total number of miners installed and waiting energization across all facilities increased to 49,000 miners or 4.7 exahash. That's as of July 31st. So when I see something that says they're installed and they're awaiting energization, that sounds like they are one step away, and that step was getting authorization from the federal government, which they achieved in July. So to me, this reads like we're ready to activate 49,000 miners. So that did not happen. You can see, and this is the difference between what they say and what they do. Now, they may get all those online and we'll update, and I'm going to show you what they're now saying. It's just, for me, I have to put a discount value into everything they say because they've not yet ever done what they said they were going to do in their monthly update. However, this month is a step in the right direction. They did make some big progress this month. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt in the analysis that I do later, and I'm going to take a look at what could be this year if they do what they say they're going to do. Back to the August update. In August, we continue to install and energize miners with our hosting providers, increasing our hash rate and steadily improving our Bitcoin production, said Fred Thiel, Marathon chairman and CEO. During the month, approximately 25,000 of our previously installed miners were successfully energized, increasing our hash rate back to approximately 3.2 exahash. So they're still nowhere near where they were 10 months ago, but they did get down well under 1 exahash. So this was a big jump. This is the first big jump in the right direction. So approximately 3.2 exahash per second with our operating mining fleet consisting of approximately 34,000 miners as of August 31st. So we know they have a lot more than that set up and ready to be energized. Okay, so if I go to their August highlights, here's what they say about August and what they say about their plans in the future. Okay, so we went through the first bullet point. Second bullet point then goes on to say approximately 65,000 additional miners or 6.9 exahash are expected to be energized over the next 90 days. So that is 6.9 additional exahash, including the 3.2 they have energized. That means 90 days from now, they expect to be at 10.1 exahash. So that would be in including August, a 4-month period where they went from less than 1 exahash to over 10 exahash. So I will show you how those numbers play out if they're able to do that. But again, I'm not ready to just believe that statement because they always seem to be a little bit further behind where they say they are. So I'd like to see a little more of a track record of them doing what they say. There's no reason for them to overpromise month after month after month, and I think for me, that's where they've lost a lot of credibility. However, their stock price does have a big factor priced in for this potential success because their run-up was much bigger than all of the other Bitcoin miners in the recent relief rally that we had ending in the middle of August. Their pullback since then has been less than average, so they've maintained their value more than the other companies. So I think people are starting to come around and at least hedge that Marathon's going to make massive improvements, even if it's not 100% of what they say they're going to do. Okay, produced 184 Bitcoin in August of 2022. Year to date through August, they've produced 2,222. So let's look at a chart of that. Okay, so here's their production over the last really 14 months. And you'll see, I'm going to go to another one that I've marked up a little bit because you're going to see in December of 2021, they mined 485 Bitcoin. Even if you go back to August of 2021, so that is a full year ago. The comp for this month, they mined 470 Bitcoin last August. They had to almost triple the amount of the Bitcoin that they mined in July just to get to 184 Bitcoin, which is far less than half of what they mined a year ago. So you can see where this has gone in the wrong direction. So if I take a look at this way, what I've done is you see this red arrow. That is 8 months of movement in the wrong direction. So a lot of people think that I don't like Marathon, but the thing is, I'm just looking at the data. So again, I try on my channel as much as I can just to present the data and the facts. And the fact is Marathon has missed their target every single month, really the last 8 months in a row, and they've missed it by a lot. So I did stress that for the 8 months that they were missing them. So I do want to give them their credit now that it seems like I believe they may have turned the corner and they're moving in the right direction. So the first thing you'll see is we've got a giant red arrow, going from 485 Bitcoin all the way 8 months later down to 73 Bitcoin in 1 month. And I just want to note that the month prior to December where they did 485, there was a little bit of a red flag here, and it was more than a little bit. They went from 418 in October down to 196 in November of 2021. So that was the first sign that maybe something isn't right here. And I will tell you, where all of these Bitcoin were mined were at the Hardin facility, and that facility is now closed. So they have had to move every single machine that they owned, in addition to buying a lot more new machines. So I think this was a leading indicator here that maybe there was some trouble. Their price actually peaked here in November only because Bitcoin peaked and hit its all-time high in November. And then you can see, a big jump in December and then just a downward slide. So with August, I do believe they are going to start a trend where for the next several months, they are going to increase their production month over month over month. So instead of having an 8-month period where in general they've decreased their production month over month, I think we're now looking at maybe the next 8 months where they're going to increase production month over month. So that is obviously a very fundamental shift. Okay, so I want to show you a projection that I've put together, and this is fairly conservative. This is based on what they just said they were going to do that we just read in the August operational report. So in other words, they have 3.2 exahash active. They have another 6.9 exahash that they expect to come online in the next 90 days. So I've tried to even be conservative and discount that a little. So you'll see these numbers in yellow on this chart on the left. These are pretty conservative. If they can do anything close to what they just talked about in this operational update, they should move into a scenario where next month maybe 350 Bitcoin, and then 525 in October, 775 in November. That would break their all-time record by far. And then in December, they should really be over 1,000 Bitcoin per month. And that's very conservative versus what they said they were going to do. So if they're not hitting these numbers, then really they did not at all do what they just outlined in this month's operational update. So this is a potential target scenario. Obviously, these are projections based on what management said. So what I'm going to be doing is measuring over the next 3 or 4 months, how are they doing versus this? Because this is the plan they have now officially laid out. There's no more roadblocks or barriers in their way. So I don't see why they shouldn't be able to execute this plan. If they do execute this plan, there could be a massive move to the upside in their stock. So in the past, I've called this a bit of a lottery ticket. Well, I think it's getting a little bit better than that now. And 1 or 2 months from now, they may be able to show that they really are on this plan, in which case, there could be potential big upside on this stock. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick look at the chart. This is very zoomed out. This is Marathon on the 1-week time frame. So like most of the Bitcoin miners, they peaked in November of 2021, and that is when Bitcoin peaked. They got up to $83 per share at that point. So you can see from their high to their low in about a 9-month period of time, they were down almost 94%. So most of the Bitcoin miners did suffer somewhere around a 90% pullback. 94% was a little worse than average. And I think that's due to the obvious reasons that, they were definitely having a hard time. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit and look at some potential price targets as to where they may be able to get if they can start to execute this plan the way they've just described it. From their low to their high in this relief rally over the last few months, they were up almost 260%. So that is a gigantic move to the upside. But remember, we just looked. This was an $83 stock. So even this gigantic move only put them up to just about a $19 stock. So that is still massively off of their highs. Now the relief rally is over, and we had about a 2 or 3 week period where Bitcoin pulled back and started to retest some of its lows. A lot of the other Bitcoin miners have already pulled all the way back, very close to or retesting their lows. A few of the Bitcoin miners have actually set new lows in this last few week period. However, Marathon as of right now is only down 33% off of its peak. So it did not have the gigantic pullback. And the reason is the operational report over the last few months. People are now anticipating that, hey, you know what? After 8 months of misery, it does look like some of the things that they've been waiting for are happening, and maybe they're going to start executing this plan. So instead of pessimism being priced into this stock, there's a little bit of optimism starting to be priced into this stock. So the first one is if they just get back to where they were 3 weeks ago, that would be approximately a 50% increase in the price of their stock. So Bitcoin is rallying at the moment over the last few days. We may or may not have bottomed out, so that remains to be seen. We did get about 1,000 points away from its previous bottom in June. So in the very, very short term, I'm not sure. We may retest the bottom. But if you look in a 30, 60, 90-day window, I do think it's extremely reasonable to believe that Marathon could get back to this price that it was at just 3 weeks ago. Bitcoin was only at $25,000 at that time. And really at that time, Marathon had not proven out any of the execution of this plan they've been talking about. So, over the next 30, 60, 90 days, they're going to get a chance to prove themselves. And if Bitcoin even gets just a little bit healthy into the $25,000 range, I think this is a very easy price target. Again, this is not financial advice. You guys got to do your own risk reward analysis. But to me, this is quite realistic if Bitcoin gets healthy and Marathon executes the way that they say they're going to. Final price target that I want to look at is this was a high back in late March 28th. So Bitcoin had a nice relief rally in the last couple of weeks of March. All the Bitcoin miners hit a local high at that time. And you can see that Marathon got to about $33. So I do think this is a reasonable 6 to 12 month price target for Marathon if they do what they say they're going to do. And again, if Bitcoin gets healthy or even healthier than I'm talking about, they could blow past this number. I'm going to leave it at this. This is a 157% increase in the price of their stock from where it sits today. So if they execute their plan the way that they talked about between now and the end of the year, and Bitcoin gets somewhat healthy, I do think this is a pretty realistic 6 to 9 month price target. So I'm going to leave it at that. And again, remember, this is not financial advice. You guys need to do your own due diligence and understand your own risk tolerance. So invest wisely. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button, and I will see you in the next video.